All right, ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. We're all ready to go, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Matt, ready?
Yep.
Kev, ready?
It sticks to the table.
Told you they were a good idea.
All right. Yeah, just make sure that into the mic, man.
Oh, yeah.
You can bring it closer to you if you want, yeah.
Cheers.
So, Kev, you ready?
Born ready.
All right, let's go.
A few moments later.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to episode. I want to say it's episode 6. Is it 7? Well, we count the KPMG. It should be 7, right?
I think the KPMG is its own one. Its own little
own
special,
one?
yeah.
So I think we're 6.
I mean, we don't want to associate with the things we've said.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, welcome to an episode of the AFTERS podcast. I am joined by.
I'm Kevin.
Yep.
And Jamie.
And
Our president.
our president.
And Ben,
Our vice president.
Vice
not on
president.
camera this week.
Not on camera this week. That's a shame, but that's okay. We
They
make the
look good,
best of
though.
what we do. Yeah,
They
does
look real good.
They do look good. So we've got. I don't even know what we're talking about today, to be fair, but we've got a couple of topics. I think one is a pressing issue that has made the rounds of the news. I think it was today.
This morning.
For some reason, all the news that comes out like about the university comes out literally the day we record. So I'm like, okay, this works for us because we don't have to really track down content. But have you been aware that the university is now cutting out online lectures for a lot of the courses as of next year? You heard about that?
Yeah, just read
Yeah?
about it. Yeah. What a painful process that's going to be. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, personally, I find that ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think it looks like they're kind of trying to cut down some spending costs ever since COVID.
Definitely.
They can do their graduation, unlike UWA, but they're trying to cut their costs in some other areas, and they're thinking, yeah, we'll just stop the lectures. We have to pay them as much, and we can just use online lectures from past years, but it just cuts down the quality of the courses, I think. My personal opinion. What do you think?
Definitely cut costs. Like, definitely, 100%. They took advantage of the whole pandemic and everything to just utilize that and just kind of dive right into moving online. I mean, it's shitty for students. Like, it's awful for us.
Yeah.
But for them, I mean, they're looking out for themselves, and I mean, it's obviously going to be a great business move for them, but for students, it's awful. I mean, it takes away that whole experience of being a student. I mean, being in a classroom filled with like-minded people outside of school, having that freedom to grow and express and find yourself. But I mean, you're replacing that with, like, the whole social aspect of it's just gone down the drain. The whole university experience,
Yeah, I mean, they've killed the culture with just one swing.
100%.
Because I know what happened when I went to TAFE, and they moved all of the trades down to Kwinana from Beaconsfield. The place went from like a buzzing like your lunchtime area
Yep.
to like dead. They like had to like make half of the cafe staff redundant, just like because there wasn't enough people to serve. So
Yeah, that makes you question our last podcast about the cutting costs for the staff.
Staff.
I mean,
right.
that led into this evidently.
Right. Yeah, they just keep piling it on. But like, no, it's okay, guys, because we've got the vertical campus in the CBD now, so it's all fine. I read the article in WA Today, and it said, university spokesperson saying, from our student review surveys, this is what they wanted. And I'm like, that's such bullshit. Like
No one wanted this.
maybe
Like,
2-3 people were like, yeah, this works for me. But they were like, yeah, that's enough for us to change it. And we'll just refer back to these surveys. But first of all, no one completes those surveys. And if they did, like, there's only, a couple people that probably feel that way. I don't think it's enough to justify making such a big move. And they didn't really ask all the students either.
It's drastic. It really is drastic.
Again, we are paying
exorbitant
amount,
prices.
especially international
Ridiculous.
students as
Yeah.
well, 3 times the amount of domestic students. So I feel like they're kind of cutting corners in terms of education. And, how many of these lectures are going to be recorded for that year, not using previous years? I've been in some classes,
That's fair.
some business classes where they'll use slides and
Old stuff,
pre-recorded
just
lectures
recycle
from
them.
years ago.
Not updated at
Not
all.
updated at all. And then like,
That
yeah,
is a
this will
massive
be
concern.
fine. And then I'm just like, it kind of, it does impede on learning experience. So
Again, business wise, it is a brilliant move because I mean they're capturing the entire market. I mean, this will enable them to capture that whole international market from studying at home. I mean, people wouldn't have to be on campus. They wouldn't have to be in the country anymore.
Right.
But this also begs the question, what are they going to do about fees? I mean, will that obviously be a reduction? Or are they actually going to try shove normal fees down our throats for online learning?
They're definitely not going to reduce fees.
Oh, hell no.
And I agree.
You think?
They definitely won't reduce fees. No, because they're offering the same content. It's just in a different mode.
You're paying for
That's
the
ridiculous,
content. You're
yeah,
not-
my beef is that why can't they do both?
Like, yeah.
Like
hybrid.
they're
I mean,
saying
they probably do both already.
no,
currently.
Well,
They like
We're in
they
a
do,
hybrid place.
record like some. Like,
yeah, but
lectures.
even that is not. That's not a consistent thing because some of the lecturers don't really know how to use technology to record sometimes, and then you'll find out you've missed out 2 weeks because the lecturer forgot to turn on their recording device, which I have experienced in my semester multiple times.
But don't worry, your recording device is on now.
Yeah, exactly. So we're perfectly fine, but yeah, I just feel like it's not really that useful.
Surely
Jamie,
they
what do you
reduce
think?
fees.
I mean, the whole thing about fees, being an external student, I pay the exact same amount as what I would to pay for being in class.
Yeah,
I just do it because of more convenience for myself with everything I've got to do. So,
yeah.
but I
You
feel
pay
like
the same
maybe
fees.
The same fees.
Don't you feel like it should be reduced? I mean,
because you're learning, you're paying for the content. That's what it is. You're paying for the content.
but you're also paying for how it's being delivered to you. I mean, surely that face to face, you do pay more for. I mean, we could get any old man on YouTube to introduce us to these new concepts. I mean, that we're not paying for that.
Yeah.
Like,
That is true. But as well with the content side of things, I spent this year on an accreditation board for a uni course. And that is actually a huge process, and it also covers everything they're required to cover. So some of the accreditation, some of the things you have to do and see, really does affect what material they can teach. So some of the things that may be 5-6 years old might be because they're not allowed to actually change those at all at this point in time. Like it's a very full-on process, many meetings, many days, like sitting there reading over material and everything to make sure it's all correct. And but it also just depends on the course.
that's fair. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like lately it's just we all know university. It is a business first rather than like a service.
They're
and I
showing
think
that.
they're showing it more now than ever. I've been here for like 5 years, and this is like the most that they've done in a shorter span of time.
At least you get to leave now.
Yeah, like I can
Before it
leave
gets-
now. I don't have to
before
come
it gets
back.
tough,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be
lucky you.
it's gonna be great.
Right.
I'm leaving the prison.
Just don't do what I do. Don't come back.
No, I'm definitely not coming back. No way. No way. Not if they paid me.
They won't pay you. They'll make you pay
They made me-
exorbitant
they made me
fees. Just even think about that, you'll pay.
Oh,
More
God.
fees last.
Yeah, so I don't really have advice for any students out there. I think I don't believe a lot of other universities might follow suit with this.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. You know, if you feel like this is probably not the best place in terms of your mode of study, or you feel like they're not offering relevant courses because courses are being discontinued, then I think you'll make the right decision of where you want to go.
I think that's definitely an important one. Look at the courses and like that, because the amount of courses that people have started, just to then be like, oh, by the way, we're actually finishing this next year, so you're not going to be able to
I
graduate.
mean, imagine, I think it was like economics, like a year before I started thinking like 2018, they decided to like phase it out.
Really, that's
Yeah.
I was doing an economics degree and I had to change my degree when I came here because they didn't offer it yet.
They
It's
didn't offer it.
economics.
I
That's
mean,
like
It's insane.
the basis
Last
of
year
the
they
economy.
offered it-
Foundation.
Last year they offered it as a minor,
Then they cut it out.
and then they just I think
It
like
was-
all of the economic stuff
and
is
the thing
basically
is-
part time.
Yeah, like they aren't thinking. They're not thinking. Oh, because this is a staple course in university, we need it. They're thinking we're not getting as many students as we want, so therefore it makes no sense for us to keep this course going. And they're like, we're just going to cut it. We'll put it to a minor, and then let's see if there's still any interest. And there's no minor, so they cut it out.
But then if you cut it to a minor, who's gonna do it? Because it's like
I know exactly.
yeah.
But they did that with radio. Radio is a major. Yeah, so they cut that out, and then they integrated art. So like, if you're doing,
that's why we
doing
make our own radio.
Yeah, that's why we're doing what we're doing now. But yeah, it's just losing. It's losing just a bit of reputation into like what makes up a university really.
Yeah, it
You
makes
know?
you question that as well. I mean, they're definitely moving towards a new time period. Like they're trying to be leaders in this like technology.
But like
age.
mathematics and economics, I don't think I don't think
tend to be
those-
like
they
fundamental.
aren't
Are they
they aren't
catering to?
outdated. They're
They're
not
catering
outdated.
to, I don't know, maybe the new age Gen Z kids kind of things,
They
because
even cut up
it's not traditional at all.
even like nanotechnology. Didn't they cut that course as
Yeah,
well?
I think they're going to.
So they're catering to
think
stupid
they
Gen Z kids. Like,
I don't even know. I don't know if it's the Gen Z. Like as I said, like I think I mentioned in our podcast, they try to pass a social futures course where it's like if you can predict social trends, and I was just like thinking, what? How does that come about? That was so close to being passed, but then we don't have a digital marketing course, like an actual course about like we didn't learn
you
about
serious?
Facebook analytics, Instagram, none of that until our last year. You know, and we're
they're
doing
phasing out
marketing.
relevant
We're doing
future
marketing.
things, and they're phasing out traditional past things, and they're just trying to create
It's weird.
an entire new
It's-
basis of study that just no one really wants. I mean, I think it's going to show with the students leaving. I mean, honestly, no one wants to put up with this. They're phasing out relevant degrees that people are like inherently they're around currently for a reason, you know? Like
Yeah.
mathematics. There's always going to be mathematics. That's necessary. That's the basis of life. How could you phase that out? It
Like-
doesn't make any sense.
I went through 5 years of high school doing mathematics, did AFTERS, leaving away, you know,
did
didn't think
ATAR
I was
like
going to pass
like
just
a
to find
chump.
out they don't even offer it in university. And I'm thinking, why did I do it?
Yeah.
Pythagoras
By the
theorem,
way,
fuck
why did you
you.
do ATAR like a chump?
Why did I do ATAR? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Murdoch, when it's so easy to get into university, I could have just dropped out at year 10, worked for 2 years and done on track. And I would have made more money than anybody.
I did my diploma, and I got 12 credit points coming to uni.
Yeah, so you get your diploma, and then that's like up to a year and a year and a half off of the course, depending
You
what
get-
course it is.
Pretty
My
much
goodness.
4 electives off. Is what I got.
Because okay. I think it depends on the relevancy of the
Depends on
diploma.
how your double major is
Oh
structured.
yeah, okay. So you're doing that's
You
why
can
double
get
major.
like
But if it was just one major, you probably would have got more, right?
no, still
No?
12.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I
But
got
electives.
those 12 coming in. So if I was to like swap to say like a Bachelor of Law, I would still have those 12 credits.
Yeah, okay.
Unless
Yeah, I
they
hear
were
what you're saying.
relevant, then because advanced standing works on relevancy of what you did.
I mean, it is a
If you can compare them,
Yeah.
Because I got
you
advanced
probably
standing
have
as
to
well.
like they might cut it down to 6, and those credits were only applicable to electives.
Jeepers.
So
So you have no electives then.
I don't have to.
Lucky. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Really, I think students can make up for themselves how they feel about it. But
Hopefully, yeah.
that's how we feel about it. Is there any other news, guys, that we can?
Oh, I mean, we had
discuss?
Fusion Day today.
That was actually pretty awesome.
yeah.
I have to
What
admit.
was that? I just saw flags on campus, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Okay,
There
so
was
it's
a
like
teacup ride. There was a teacup ride going around. I was like, oh, yeah, I
yeah.
remember that.
That's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
I remember that as a vibe.
There was
yeah.
I mean, it was supposed to be like Multicultural Day, but they didn't want to call it Multicultural Day
Why
because we
not?
had one like earlier in the year, I guess.
So we had another multicultural day.
Yeah, but they didn't want to call it Multicultural Day.
What is fusion? What is the
Fusing
I-
cultures. Also,
I
that's
don't know,
not
man.
that's not possible. You can't fuse cultures. But anyway, that's another topic for another time.
that makes
Yeah,
the initial
I mean, there was some like
culture
banging
redundant.
drums.
They were actually really awesome.
They were
I really
banging,
liked them.
yeah.
I thought they did a really good job. They were so energetic.
They were
and just
banging drums.
the way that they were like going for
professionally.
like they went for like what, half an hour, 20
Yeah,
minutes,
just,
half
like,
an hour,
non-stop,
and
just
Wait,
Wait,
are we
did
talking about
three-
drums or
like
drums?
Chinese
Big-
drums, like
big drums.
big drums with the big sticks.
Ah, right.
And they were going like
Those are my favorite
super
drums, yeah.
enthusiastically for like almost half an hour.
I'm
like,
indifferent to drums.
there's no way I
How
would
can
have
you
done
be
that.
indifferent to drums?
He has preferences.
we just talk about our top 5 favorite drums right now.
yeah.
The steel drum. I love the steel drum. I want that island feel, man.
Any personal stories that has happened? I've got I'm not gonna
You don't have to name names.
name and shame, but I have a story.
Ooh.
I would
Spicy.
love to hear the story.
And to be honest, I kind of hope the person watches this that is a part of the story. So we have a group project for one of our units. I'm not even going to say the unit, but let's just say that we had a group of 5, I believe, and one of the people, like one of the group members, they got given 2 sections of our assignment. I think it was worth like 5,000 words. This report would be. They didn't hand in their section at all, and they left it to like the last day for us to keep on like asking, you know, you're gonna hand it in. They're like, yeah, we're working on it, and they just didn't hand it in. So yeah, we were emailing the tutor all across the weekend, just trying to get them just kicked out of the group because because this is like a report that you show clients because we're in our last year, so this is like serious now.
Practical stuff.
It's practical stuff, you know. It's a proper report that you can use for like your resume and stuff. But this kid just didn't hand in his stuff at all. Yeah, so that's like my little bit of a story. I think he got kicked out of the group, and I haven't seen him since.
But you're gonna jump him when you see him.
I'm not gonna. No, I wouldn't. Look. Let's just say that, like, you know,
we're gonna jump him later. We'll find him.
I think the thing is like, I think when my first 2 years of university, I probably wouldn't have cared because it's like, oh yeah, I think I took it very easily. You know, I wasn't really thinking about after uni. But now I'm in my like last semester, and you're looking to do some things. It's just kind of like, are we really still doing the thing of like, say, you know, you've been given work to do, but you don't do it, and you just expect everyone else to do it? It's like,
you're in your third year as well.
Yeah.
Get off your ass and do the work.
Yeah.
How do you even make it to that far and not complete a project?
Like, you know the expectations that are set. Like, how can't you do
the
this?
consequences? What?
Yeah, like first year, first assignment. Maybe I'll give you a bit of a
leeway. Yeah, there's some leeway.
But I ended up like in my previous years, like I would just end up either helping them with their section or I just do it because I'm like, it doesn't really bother me. But I think it's now because in your last semester, you've got so much stuff going on. I think I did offer the guy to like, you know, I'll be in the library this day all day if you want me to help your section. He's like, nah, I get distracted in the library. I'm like, you get distracted everywhere. if you ain't doing your section, man, like what's going on?
There's a thing called the silent area.
Yeah.
You can sit down and do your work.
I don't understand.
I go to that place often.
I can't stand the silent area. I feel like every single noise I make is too noisy, and then I'm like, crap, I'm disturbing everybody. I can't do it.
Let's talk about
library
areas because I end up going downstairs to like the main library area. I just end up just talking to everyone because it is a buzz zone, to be fair. So I just guess
fun.
I'm susceptible to it, man. Like,
I've never studied there. I go there for chats. I go there for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's a nice
place
I like to
vibe.
convince myself that I'm gonna be studying down there, and then I get like an hour done, but I'm there for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
But everyone down there, they know who they are, so. But yeah, not a big fan of group projects though. Never have been.
They're the worst,
agree.
honestly.
Yeah.
The worst.
Oh, I mean, I know that you got one, Kev.
Jesus, yeah. So this guy, I've also got a story here. This guy, man, you know, it was funny because like first meeting, we just got given our project. Like we're all pumped for it, or we're planning for it. You know, we're planning for it. And this guy, like overly confident, too confident. That should have been the worst. That should have been the sign that we were like, like, are you this confident for a reason, or are you just confident because you're like really shitty? Like, are you awful? And it turned out he was awful. And he asked to be the leader. He was like, guys, can I be the leader? And we were like, that's a terrible sign. Imagine asking to be a leader. That
You don't ask. You
get nominated.
take the leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
You earn it. You know, you do something that makes us go, okay, you're a leader. He asked to be the leader, and we were like, okay.
What, did he pitch why I should be the leader, or was he you know, I just think I should be the leader?
He was just all confident, friendly, smiles, and he's like, guys, do you mind if I'm the leader? And we were just like, oh.
Do you mind if I'm the leader?
Everyone else said yes, and I was like, okay, whatever. Because I was done with this group at that point because, Jesus, they're the worst.
Ooh.
And this guy never pitched up for another meeting. He just never came to uni. 4 weeks. 4 weeks of him not pitching up.
That's a pretty good leader. My opinion.
Yeah.
He didn't do any of the work. He didn't come. He didn't for the due dates, for the drafts, for the rough, for anything. And eventually, we just elected a new leader. We kind of just went with a different
leader.
We went with the person who was actually leading, which makes sense. And this guy just he really still wanted to be the leader for some reason. And he ended up calling me crying because I was on the group chat, on our LMS page where we post our updates and things, he posted some stuff saying oh guys, please don't edit without my permission. And we were like, mate,
He's
you
not even
haven't
there.
pitched up. We don't have your permission because you're never there, because you're not observing what we're doing. And he's just the worst. Oh God.
He called you crying?
He called me crying because he was like, are you mad at me?
No,
that's what he said.
Pretty,
in tears.
We gotta make that.
Are
a
you
movie
mad at me?
for sure? What the fuck? I don't think I've.
I'm like, I don't even remember what you look like, mate. I haven't seen you in a month.
I know people break down over university, and like I understand, but in this case,
Yeah.
like what is going on, man?
Still haven't
I
seen it.
I'll literally just be listening to it. I'd be like, is there anything else?
I mean, like the only thing with like group work for me was that I've only had like personality differences. That's
that's standard though.
yeah.
That's
But sometimes
personal-
it can be a bit much.
real
Yeah,
life,
but I
yeah.
know, but like you all want the same thing, you know?
This
Like
guy did nothing. Oh.
How about you, Jamie?
Oh, I've got stories. Being at uni as long as I have, I hate group assignments. Absolutely cannot stand them. I understand why we need to do group assignments because obviously you need to be able to show you can work in teams, communicate.
But
I understand the logic behind them, but I don't like it because that's my grade that's being messed with.
people
100%, yeah.
people don't realize that group assignments are supposed to develop your social skills. It doesn't mean people actually develop their social skills, because I've been in groups where people don't talk and they genuinely do not talk, and even if you encourage them to talk, they don't talk. And look, a little bit of insight about whatever industry you're going to get into. When most of these places are going to hire you off of your personality rather than just
That's fair.
what you know. You know, if you can't, let's say you're a HD student and all you know is just your work and you put your head in the books and you don't really know how to talk to people, you're going to get to the interview and they're going to ask you a question. If you become flustered, like, they pick up on that. You got to be able to fit within whatever organizational culture they have going and to be able to be comfortable to talk. These are genuine skills that people need to pick up on.
Life skills. Things you're not going to get from being online and learning online, which goes against the whole system that Murdoch wants to bring in.
Well,
Makes no sense. No sense.
Thank God it's just their lectures. I would give them. I'm not giving them a pass, but like I understand why it's just lectures. But if they were like,
If it's like
if they said online
workshops.
tutorials and workshops,
Yeah.
honestly I can't even defend at that point.
I feel like if they were trying to say that, like, let's put lectures online because then we can have longer tutorials or longer workshops or more
Right.
in-depth workshops where we're not focusing on let's do the lecture for the first half and then spend maybe 20 minutes talking about what we need to actually learn today, then I can support that because more hands-on learning, more actual focus on the content instead of sitting there going, here, listen to me talk for 2 hours.
It's just
But what
mad.
skills are they cultivating by bringing a lot of this online? I mean, people are going to be at home. I mean, I guess that's the whole pandemic. Everyone's been at home, and
but
it's
that's
shown
also-
it's possible.
And also, can we just mention that the network capabilities of our Wi-Fi in WA,
limited.
it's already trash.
Yeah.
You know, like
They're rather behind
That's-
with technology.
I know, it's
Australia, when I first got you, I didn't expect that. But it's like you guys are very off the grid, like from the rest of the world. And I get the distance, I suppose, but that's no excuse.
I don't think that's I don't know. I just remember being at home when I was like 10 years old, and it took me about 15 minutes to upload or to watch a 5-minute video of Michael Jordan in 360p. You know, and it was so hard that I just ended up replaying the video because that's all you could do. You know what I'm saying? Like it just really was like that, and it just I don't know.
Yeah, waiting for the videos to load. Oh,
Yeah, it was mad.
good times.
It was mad. Yeah, Australia known for so many great things.
But yeah, the skills that people are going to cultivate from just solely having online lectures and things like that. I mean, it really limits people. Like, it goes against just socializing first year, you know, having that fun first year experience, but it also goes against your life skills. I mean, real life isn't online. You know, you can't live a life behind your computer screen. You have to get out there. You have to meet people. Like, I mean, we're definitely moving towards this new technology-inclined society, but is that for the better? I mean, we're a social creature, and having no actual social interaction, like personal touch. I remember being touched for the first time, like during COVID,
Whoa.
because no, people, like we all avoided touching each other. No, there was this. Like I'm here, I don't have family and things. I don't get hugs from my mates, and we all got isolated. We got
I
stuck.
give you hugs all the time.
No, but this was during the peak, like when we were all alone, stuck in our houses, not allowed to leave, like just go to Coles, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like for months or 2 months at least, I hadn't been like touched by another person. You know, you avoid touching them because, you know, disinfecting and all of that stuff. And then I remember like distinctly, I was walking through the train station and it was a PTA guy and he just touched me on the shoulder and I was like, whoo, like I just shivered. And I was like, damn, I missed that. Like just That
He
human
missed
interaction.
the public transport.
I missed
shoulder
the
tap.
PTAs touching me, man.
Yeah, no, I think I don't believe, like, I will give Murdoch this. I don't believe they'll take away tutorials in terms of on campus. They would be very, very stupid to do that. I'm looking at you. Whoever,
Who knows?
staff member, vice
knows? I mean-
chancellor. Just saying, if you guys end up doing that, you've literally like shit the bed and you've kind of fucked up everything. But it is what it is.
For
Yeah,
a campus that focuses a lot on student culture, moving that away from it, you will destroy that culture.
Yeah, because you're taking more students out.
Because
of
what's the point of
university.
coming to campus and
But that's
experiencing that
exactly
campus
what
culture?
they're doing. They're cultivating offshore. They're cultivating people who aren't even here, you know? And I mean, I get that. That's great. But have an option, you know? There should be more life lived on the campus. I mean, we had an event today, and like I remember the events before COVID happened, and they were relatively booming. Like span people everywhere. There were stores everywhere. But today is bleak in comparison. Like it's just.
I mean, to be fair as well, we're like nearing the very end of the semester. Normally even when we're busy,
And our international students are here.
yeah, exactly. International students aren't here. That's
But
one
now
of the
they don't
biggest
even have to come
things.
back.
Because they can still all online.
That's kind of facts, isn't it? Still get charged that money, but yeah, I think that the people just think the international students come here just for education. That's bullshit. Some international students come here to live.
Yes.
I'm here
And
to
you
live.
cannot get PR, you cannot get workers' rights if you don't live here and get a job after uni. So if Murdoch are pushing that to international students, they're just going to go somewhere else. And we're going to lose that money. So I'd be interested to see how it all pans out, but I have no idea what they think they're doing. Yeah.
So far, we've learned what they're doing is business orientated. Business. It's just business. You can predict their next moves just based on cultivating the market and grabbing as much cash dollar they can get from each and every individual. And it's absolutely brilliant in terms of business. Like they've obviously got some brilliant leaders out there for business. I mean, it's
Let's see. Let's
it's
actually
brilliant.
see how much this improves their financial performance. I want to see.
They're a not-for-profit business, though. They're not supposed
What?
to. They are. So universities, they don't get taxed. They are a not-for-profit
Neither do
organization.
churches. And
So the money that they make, they have to spend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So
It's
what
all
are
a
they
loop,
spending the money
A new
on?
high-rise building.
Exactly.
I mean, look how much the CEO is getting paid.
That's
Look
what
at
I'm like.
people in charge.
Yeah, the vice chancellor making like 700 grand. I'm just like,
Base.
That money is
Base.
obviously
base, but
from,
I'm just like I believe to my core, and if she was sitting here, I would just say to her face, look, I've met you like once, and you're probably a really nice person, probably got qualifications, but I can tell you that you do not deserve that money.
100%.
You
I
just
don't even know what she looks like.
you just don't.
so.
She's. I'm not gonna comment on her, but
She's an old lady.
Yeah.
But, like, if someone turns
she
to us-
reminds
Out of
me-
10, what
she
would you
reminds
rate
me
her?
of my nan. Like she's.
Let's talk about her.
Let's
Let's do
It's
this.
definitely not. But she reminds me of my nan. She's very sweet. Like from when I met her, she was very sweet. When I was working for the university. But like again, I'm not afraid to tell someone like, yeah, you don't deserve that money, because it's ridiculous. Especially
lot
if you're
of people,
cutting
like-
cutting staff costs. That's the staff costs. You're still making their money. It's just it's ridiculous.
You'd think
I
for
can-
something pay like that, the first cut cost would be her own pay.
Exactly. That would have set an example. If she
Don't
came
even
out,
say That would've
been
if
amazing
she
if
set out,
That'll
if she
never
came
happen.
out and said, "Look, we have to make staff cut costs, but actually we're gonna make it so small that you probably won't recognize it, and I'm gonna take this out of my pay." She didn't do that.
No.
Why not?
Capital.
Why not? Exactly. So, how much does the university care about students? How much does the university care about their staff? These are questions you've got to ask yourself. But I don't know what's going on in everyone else's backyard. I don't know what's happening with Curtin or UWA, specifically in there, how they treat their staff members. But Murdoch's giving a really great example of that. So,
Really leading from the back.
oh yeah.
The absolute furthest place from the front. It'll be interesting to see if they follow suit or if they just watch us go our own direction.
I mean, I want to see what happens in like 10 years' time when like the stuff that's like happening now, like you won't probably see it next year or like the year after.
Yeah.
In like 10 years' time, what's gonna happen?
Bunch of anxious people who can't socially interact with people outside of a computer, I suppose. I don't know.
So most people now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
worse, like so much worse.
I don't know. I think if I could predict the 10, 15 years, I reckon online education is just going to get better. And then it's going to get to a point where one of these companies, for example, like I want to go into like digital marketing analytics, you know, but I know that I can't get into that job without a degree. Like they ask, you need a degree, but it's going to get to that point where an online education service is going to offer a course in marketing analytics that the company is going to be like, look, if you do this course, you can get in. And that course costs $3,000 compared to $27,000. When that moment happens, that is when it will change the game for a lot of these people.
Yeah, but they're not going to change the price. No way.
No. I'm not talking about university changing the price. I'm talking about
so like the
online, the competitors of online courses.
Oh, gotcha.
Because they're getting better.
So like the MOOCs or something like that.
I'll say this: if I would not get a degree if I didn't need one.
Same.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, then and the truth is, a lot of students that I've met feel that way. So the moment that you realize that you do not need one to get to where you want to go, then why are you here?
Yeah, I mean, for me, getting a degree was more of like a backup plan.
And I believe that Murdoch is taking that for granted, knowing that students actually need a degree to get to where they're going. And then they're like, so we're going to just do this, we're going to do this, but they still need us.
That's why they hike up the prices, demand and supply. There's a massive demand for it. I mean, look at international students. I mean, a degree from Australia, firstly, that's international. That's so well recognized, it's so respected. And universities are taking advantage of that. International students need it. I mean, that's why they can hike up the prices. That's why they can make it so exorbitant, because we're going to pay it. People are always going to pay it.
I'll say this, though, for internet, because I worked in the sales team for like 3.5 years. And I spoke to a lot of international students because we used to try and get them into the university. And you'll come to find that, like, when you tell them the price, a lot of them, it's not nothing to them. A lot of them come from rich families or decent families where they could pay that money. But every now and then you find people that were like, the price, it's like cutting them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like, I've heard that some students, their families have saved up for years and years and years and years just to give them an opportunity to make it out of wherever they're coming from. And those are the international students I'm really feeling for.
Or like the ones who happen to work like 4 jobs to the point of absolute exhaustion, getting themselves hurt and sick just to be able to afford to be here.
Exactly. Like those international students I'm feeling for probably the most, because you're giving up so much.
I work 2 jobs. Man, this isn't cheap. I'm from South Africa, like a third world country. I was studying astrophysics before I came here for a normal Bachelor of Commerce. Like, I'm just doing it for the international recognition. Like, it wasn't cheap. I mean, this South African rand to the Australian dollar is like 10 to 1, which is ridiculous. Like, I have 2 jobs just to pay for that. Like, it is cutting. It is absolutely to the bone. It's cutthroat watching these people getting paid 700K. Like, is that even something to strive for? Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Humanely,
like
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can look at that and just be like, this is not humane. It's not, I don't respect it. And as I'm saying is, it comes down to the core that, again, like, if she was sitting here, the Chancellor, I would just say it to her face, because it's like, I'm not even trying to I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just letting you know that it's just not right what you're doing and what the university has been doing, especially to international students. So, yeah. Like, why is this gone to a deep podcast, man? We're supposed to be
all right. Let's
crying in the club.
We're supposed to be at some sort of happy, cheerful. I got bubbles on the goddamn table.
You want to blow your bubbles?
What is this for?
Please blow some bubbles.
Now I feel better.
Okay, all right. I think we've actually gone pretty long. Like, that was a deep conversation.
It was good.
Should we talk about our event from Tuesday night?
KPMG event?
Yeah, we're going to touch on that.
Yeah, how do you guys feel that went from being from the audience?
Yeah,
it was cool. Like, we had some graduate students from KPMG. 4 of them came down for a day in the life of a graduate presentation, and it went for like an hour and a half. It was cool to meet them and hear their story.
It was lovely.
No offense, I'm not going to KPMG, but not because of them. Just
because you're going into marketing, not tax.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going into tax and auditing and all that fun stuff. But yeah, what would you think of it, Kev?
It was good. I enjoyed it. A lot of practical advice that they gave us, learning Excel, very hands-on things like that.
Excel. They really hammered down on that. They were like, learn Excel.
They had no idea
Learn
what it was.
spreadsheets.
Learn spreadsheets. Learn VLOOKUPs. It's a
But
real thing.
it's that basic stuff that they realized once they were working that they should have.
It is a
Yeah.
basic. VLOOKUPs ain't basic though.
It is
Well, I
so
mean,
basic.
I'm surprised there's not like an elective that's like
right?
Excel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
If you go to TAFE, you can do beginners to
That's brilliant.
intermediate Excel courses.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I did
even
it.
like your systems like your MyOp system and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
How
you do
we?
basic
So,
courses.
so how does TAFE have that, but we don't?
So TAFE is more of like your practical stuff.
Jesus Christ.
You don't really touch on theory. So in your Cert 3, you'll
Depends on the course.
I wish I had
okay.
my laptop. I actually have my transcripts on me
Okay.
on my laptop, but it was like write business letters, how to use Microsoft Publisher, how to use Microsoft PowerPoint, how to use Microsoft Excel, all for beginners. And then you go into Cert 4. It's a bit more. It goes into more your like complex, like how to complex documents, complex business writing, business emails, and formatting. Yeah, I'm really surprised. And I mean, when they took away they cost us like half as much as like a unit here.
But it's probably more useful.
Practical.
Like
Sounds good.
if like how many marketing students know how to create a pivot table?
I don't even know
Do
what
they
that
even
is.
know what that is? Exactly.
I didn't even know what
I
that
didn't even
is.
know what that is. Like I had to, you know what I'm saying? I
and like-
learned that outside of it, and I realized how useful
and like
it is.
those Excel things I did at TAFE, like it was all like practical learning as well.
Right.
It wasn't like oh you just you just read a book and then you talk about it some more, right? Like what we do usually now in class. We like read the chapter, do the workshop questions, and then we come to class to talk about it. It's like no, you come to class, you do a chapter on like if functions, let's say.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Who knows how to do an if function here? That's
It's
right.
like if something is something, then it means this in the spreadsheet. It's like a formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many people know how to do that?
Yeah, not a lot of people. I generally don't know how to do it really.
That's
But
practical stuff.
yeah, but it's actually really important stuff, especially for like if you're going into anything statistics related. Anything statistics related, you have to really know it. But yeah, like it was interesting hearing that insight. My biggest takeaway is that I mentioned it earlier in this podcast that personality really plays a big part in getting
and
jobs.
I think we saw at the KPMG event, like all of them were like really cool people.
They were.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't know them, but like I don't really know them on that level. But I mean, what I could sense is that they all had something in common. Like I got a vibe from them. I was like, I can tell they all fit in whatever
all click.
structure,
Yeah.
hierarchy, whatever this is.
Culture,
I can
definitely.
understand their culture. I can understand how they fit there.
Yeah.
I had to say, like, I would feel quite comfortable working with that team. They all seemed like not too exuberant where you're kind of like, whoa, calm down, but they actually seemed quite happy and
They were
willing
content.
to
They
do
were.
it. They were
Happy is a
content, yeah.
very
Really were.
subjective term.
But
I
they
wouldn't
were-
say
they were-
happy.
content to be doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
They had no complaints. They were young. They were just
Well,
talking.
it is
and
their
was-
first. It is
they
their.
were
It is
enjoying
their.
it.
It is their first year. So I mean, like,
They still have to learn.
let's invite them back 5 years from now. Let's get an updated review on that. You know.
That's fair.
But it was really nice that they came down and they didn't have to. They took their own time out.
Yeah, they did it outside of work hours.
Outside of work hours, and their
And
work
they got-
hours are
and they got,
strenuous.
and they got permission from KPMG. So thank you, KPMG, for giving them permission to come.
Thanks,
Yeah,
KPMG.
thank you,
Thank you.
KPMG. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Craig,
We love
Jordan,
you.
Sarah, and Sophia. Guys were legends.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Oh, and you can actually check up on our Facebook page now. We did a women in business interview with them.
No,
Jamie,
that's
did
sick.
you
That's
wanna
a sick
go a
podcast.
bit more on that one?
People can actually finally see me on camera.
Finally,
Finally.
this is what we've been waiting for. People,
Our
Come on.
president,
Jamie
ladies and
Reveal.
gentlemen.
Couple of weeks left out of my presidency, and then I finally got to see me on camera. No, it was really nice actually getting to have a different perspective on the women in business sort of thing. Like we kind of discussed a fair bit about stigma, and especially around like women having children and working, and having that whole point of, you know, even if you don't have children, like how that would go, sort of thing. So it was quite nice hearing their perspective, and they didn't really seem to have a lot to say about that in KPMG, but they were able to relate it back to when they were working in other areas where that's where they actually felt it more, because it is such a thing in the forefront in comparison to working in retail sort of thing, that, you know, women are just as important in business as what men are.
Right.
It's good to see.
Right. It's important to have the opportunity for an equal and fair work-life balance.
Like they spoke about, like, you know, it's not just maternity leave that's available. Like the men have paternal leave as well, and they are able to adjust their hours for the first however many months they want while they're trying to establish routines and everything with a new baby in the house. I thought that was fantastic.
Right.
Because that's a big thing as well. Like men need to spend time and bond with their newborns as well. Like, so it's good to see that.
What's
side of things.
bonding with newborn? I've never heard of that. I don't know about that one.
That's just
bonding?
the health side of me
Like
coming.
bonding
up.
Don't we just put them outside and then they just grow? Is that what it is?
You
Put
like,
him in
if you
some
got like a
soil.
kid, you give him like a bowl, and then
Gotta
you
be
go
there to
kick the
water
Yeah,
them.
you just give them a bowl of porridge.
Got to water them twice
No,
a
no,
day.
not-
Can't- you got to be
not-
there to do
not
that.
like a
Come
bowl of
on. If
porridge.
you're working, how are you going to water them?
Like a sports ball of sorts, and go here, kick it.
You know what I wish for? I wish like you just leave the baby outside and then a wolf takes it like the Jungle Book and it kind of does the whole.
If he had one
and then
wish, that would
it
be
comes
his
out
wish.
like a man. You're like, oh, that's great.
Mowgli? Yeah.
Yeah, Mowgli.
Little Mowgli.
How sick would that be? It can knows how to communicate with animals, fam. All right, whatever.
have
maybe
like a
maybe
wolf belt.
okay. Maybe I shouldn't have kids, but that's fine.
Yeah, have him raised by wolves, man.
God, they need a sequel. They need another movie of that.
They know the way.
They know the way. Yeah, so I think that might be all for.
Yeah.
On that note,
On that note.
for today's podcast.
Raised by the wolves.
Oh, we also good
Jamie.
mention. We have an event coming up on the I want to say the 24th.
Yeah, the 24th.
Oh, I'm great.
Good
I'm so,
memory.
I'm so good.
Actually, we have 2 events within. Do you want to talk about the all closer to the day?
So we're going to say 24th of October
Yes, correct.
for the bar crawl. We are still confirming venues, but it is happening.
Even though it's the grand finale for football. Or grand final, not grand finale, grand final
that
for
night.
football.
But no, isn't the grand final usually during the day?
Yeah.
But apparently
Oh
places are
no, it's gonna be a
booked
bit later.
4:30.
I thought
It's a 4:30 start.
yeah, but
Not a
Richmond
real. Anyway,
Lions.
not a real season. Asterisks.
not a real season. Well, we'll find some places to go to, especially in the Fremantle area, and yeah, feel free to
I
come
think we
along.
have one place confirmed. Yeah.
I think that's what they said, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get the event page up for that. And yeah, invite your friends to come down, have some drinks with us.
Get
Yes.
drunk with the committee.
We're
Be
responsible.
respectable.
If we get deep
respectful
sober,
human
imagine
beings.
us like drunk.
Yeah, look,
It's gonna get deep. We're gonna be crying in the clubs.
y'all never see me. You're not seeing me drunk. I'm going to be.
There are people on this committee that when they get drunk, they dance.
Oh yeah.
And they dance big, and it's really awesome to see.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm going to be on
I'm
some orange
excited
juice.
for
I'm going to be
that.
on my orange juice game, and it's going to be a good night for everybody there. Everyone's going to be very respectful to each other, and we're going to be, decent human beings.
Now
You're
fuck
going to
that,
drink
I'm getting
responsibly.
trashed.
You're going to get trashed responsibly.
Is this the message we're giving out to the people that we just get trashed at the end of the?
Responsibly.
They can't see my face. I can say what I want.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well that's enough for this week, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for everybody coming through.
Thank you.
Catch you later.
Thanks for joining us.